handheld mic is working fine. We could just sit at the table and use that.
I'm going to nominate Fran and Joe. You're okay with that? Yeah, okay. And I also have the attendance clipboard, and I'll make sure it goes around.
Okay, if I could get everybody's attention, could we get our coffee and have a chair? And we'll start the meeting in about 3 minutes.
Maybe Thursday or Friday night.
Yes, Thursday would probably be better for me, but I could do either one. I don't have a time at all for Friday.
I see. We'll say Thursday, what, 7 p.m.?
7:30?
7:30?
Does that work for you? You'll be away. Oh, I thought you were leaving this week.
We have a stage set. I'll make a note of that in my calendar, and then start second week of May.
Okay, then it makes it easier to get together.
Yeah. Not that I know. This one. They were fun.
As long as you're mentally stable, that's the main key, right? I'm gonna pick these up before we have an accident.
Is everyone ready to take their seats to the meeting? We can get started on the meeting, please. Okay, I'll wait till John sits down and then we're good. Good morning once again, and thank you for staying following the service for this, what will be a brief AGM, because the financials were already have already been cleared up. Yes, so the agenda is short, like I said, so that we can all get out of here and enjoy the bluebird skies today.
Bob's just in the choir room doing stuff for Easter weekend. He'll be right here.
Okay, so we'll just wait a minute or so before Bob comes for the opening prayer. Bob, we're ready for the opening prayer.
Thank you. Will you join with me in prayer? As we gather here for our annual meeting, we come together with humble hearts. We seek divine guidance to unite our minds and spirits. May we set aside our differences and work together harmoniously toward our common goals. May we be blessed with the strength to appreciate each other's contributions and foster an environment of understanding and cooperation. We are grateful for this chance to come together and to seek to be blessed, that we may give ourselves to each other for a successful and productive meeting. Amen. Now, the first thing I have to do is to seek nominations for somebody to chair the meeting and to record the minutes of the meeting. So the floor is open for nominations for chairperson for the meeting.
I'd like to nominate Fran Schultz.
Fran Schultz? Thank you. Any other nominations?
Sorry, who seconded?
There being no other nominations, I name Fran Schultz as the chair of the meeting. And the floor is now open for nominations for secretary for the meeting.
I'd like to nominate Mary Jo McQuaid.
Mary Jo McQuaid? Thank you. Any other nominations? Thank you. Well, so after that very spontaneous process, Mary Jo is now the secretary. Fran and Mary Jo, have fun.
Thanks, Bob. The voting privileges, we need a motion that all members and adherents have full privilege to speak and to vote. So we need. So, adherents and members present can vote, so it was Jim and David, yeah. Thank you. All in favor? Okay, thanks. Are you going to put the agenda on the overhead, Sharon? It's the one that's up, thank you, okay. So could I have a motion to approve the agenda, or are there any additions that anybody would like to see up there first? All in favor? Barb makes a motion to accept the agenda. All in favor? Okay. Thanks. We also need a motion for the approval and acceptance of the minutes of the 2023 AGM.
I'll put the motion forward to accept minutes from your 2023 AGM.
Thank you, Lynn. And Eleanor seconded that. All in favor? Okay, thank you. We need a motion to accept all of the reports as received in the annual, that you have read through in the annual report.
Do we have to approve the amendment on amendment 2, or are we just doing the booklet at the moment?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Sharon, what was the amendment that go into the booklet?
You have to make the motion first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, is there someone that would like to make the motion to accept the reports as received? Jane, and then David. All in favor?
Just a minute. Is there an amendment?
Yes, so we,
That should have before the vote.
oh, before the vote, okay. My Robert's rules are a little rusty, my apologies. Okay, so the amendment,
To the worship committee report, to add,
I can tell you what the situation is.
Okay.
Somehow we left, Sharon, what is his name? Doug Martindale, off the list of guest preachers. So we just like to add that to the list. It'll go into the official records.
did everybody hear that? Okay, okay. So is everyone in, is there a motion?
I guess I need to, I move that we add the name of Doug Martindale to the worship committee's list of guest speakers.
Okay, okay. The seconder? Okay, Barb Logie, and all in favor? Okay, thank you. And a mention of all the council and the ministry teams. All members have agreed to stay on during this year. simply because with not having a minister, the council felt that if we could all stay on the committees and carry forward, that it would be an easier transition throughout the rest of the year. So a big thank you to everyone who has decided that they can continue in their role for the rest of the year. Moving on to new business. Okay, so we need Barb just said that her husband's name, David Logie, was missed on the in memoriam list. No.
In the thrift store minutes, it's missing two of our coordinators. Three in the list, is that? Three, isn't it? Three are missed on the list.
Test.
Well, Mary Jo, you've been on there for quite a while.
No, she hasn't. She's just been on 2024.
She just started 2024? Okay, sorry. And Mark, you've been on our, Mark should be on the list as well. Mark and Bev Gordon. And Bev Gordon has been there for quite a while too. So I think three of them should be added to the list of coordinators, yeah.
Okay, so can we first of all have a motion to include the name of David Logie on the in memoriam list? No, Nori and Margaret. Okay, all in favor? Okay, and now to address the thrift shop request. Would you like to make a motion?
I'd like to have added to the thrift store report three other coordinators. Mary Jo has the names. Bev Gordon, Mary Jo McQuaid, and Mark Kyle.
Okay.
Thanks.
Any further discussion on that list? Okay. Is there a seconder to this? Yvonne and David. Okay. Carried? Okay, can we go on to new business? Bob? Okay.
Sorry, I just noticed that on the list of trustees, there's only David mentioned, and there's more than David on it. Trustees, there's Penny Gamble and John.
Where are you finding this?
Sorry, this is on page 5. Under council members. They're Penny Gamble and John Greenhow and and Gordon.
Yeah, I'm a trustee.
Unless I'm supposed to have all of the trustees listed there. The trustees are listed on page 17.
Oh, okay. So that's just the chairman?
You are correct. I think Penny is the chair now.
Yeah, the list of the trustees are on page 17, the full list. Is everybody okay with that, Eleanor? Yes. Okay. Under new business, Bob is going to discuss the search team.
Okay? So I'm standing at the microphone because I want to give you a current report from the search committee. As you'll remember, the search committee was formed by church council last fall, and the members of the committee were approved at a congregational meeting with the mandate to search for and interview candidates for the full-time position of minister at Winfield United Church, and to make a decision as to the person we feel would be the suitable candidate to be our minister, and to recommend that person to a congregational meeting. At this time, the search committee consists of Penny Gamble, Adam Jones, Mary Jo McQuaig, Ann Nightingale, Don Sawatsky, and Bob Thompson, and Kim Chabot is acting as an alternate member. What I want to say, first of all, is that the task is much more onerous than we envisioned it to be. When we first put our congregational profile on the National Church Hub and advised that we were available for call, we had about 6 inquiries almost immediately. We deemed none of those inquiries to be suitable candidates based on the theology which they had in their profile, which we felt was not compatible with the kind of minister and theology we were looking for here at Winfield. Since that initial response, we've had no one writing to us to ask for further exploration about becoming a candidate for our minister. The committee has been searching through the church hub regularly, and we've sent out about a dozen emails to ministers listed on the church hub, posted there, saying that they were looking for a new call to ministry. But to date, we've had no positive response to any of these requests. We regularly go back to the church hub to see if there are any new people on the hub that might be possibilities, or people that we've overlooked, and we will continue to do so. But to date, none of those searches have been successful. We've reached out to several ministers who we know to see if they know of anyone who might be open to a call from us. And we've also put an ad on in Broadview magazine, the church magazine, but none of these have gotten a response. We had a meeting with Kathy Davis, who is the regional minister for our area for Pacific Mountain Region, about 2 weeks ago, to see if we are doing anything wrong or if there's anything more that we could be doing. She had no suggestions to offer, but she did corroborate what we had heard from others, that there are many churches across Canada who are having the same experience we are having. By coincidence, this week I heard of a fairly large church, one of the larger churches in Winnipeg, and the search for their minister took 18 months before they could finally call a minister. Kathy also voiced a concern that we have felt, and that is that the cost of living in the Okanagan may be a deterrent for ministers moving here right now. All that she could really offer to us was that we continue doing what we are doing, and we intend to do that. She said, and we know, that this is a time of year when many ministers make the decision to change churches, and there may be a flurry of new ministers on the hub between now and June, but that's just conjecture at this point. But the search committee is concerned that this interim time before we find a new minister is taking longer than we anticipated. And we think that it might be good to have an after-church discussion on a Sunday soon to see how the congregation is feeling about the current arrangement. We don't want to have that conversation today because I think you need time to sort of think about what your needs are and whether they're being met by the current arrangements. But we're going to make recommendation to council that within the next few weeks that there be a congregational discussion after church to see what you're feeling about the interim arrangement and whether changes need to be made. Some of the questions that we have been raising and talking about in the search committee and that we think you need a chance to talk about include some of these. Number one, the search committee has talked about our church profile. That's the profile that we passed at a meeting in the fall, talking about what kind of church we were, and that profile is on the church hub so that people can access that if they want to find out what kind of a congregation they might be coming to. Kathy Davis says that she thinks our church profile is a good representation of our congregation. And several of the ministers that we've approached for the names of possible candidates, not for themselves, but people we've talked to and said, do you know of anybody who might be interested in being here? Several of those ministers have said to us that they like our profile and that if they were looking for a new church, they would be tempted to apply at Winfield based on our church profile. But we think that there might be a need for some discussion to make sure that everything on the profile you feel comfortable with and agree with. And so that might be one of the issues that you might want to look at in a after church discussion to see if there are anything in that profile that you would want to sort of have a look at again to see if it needs to be changed in some way. So that's one thing that I think we can look at. Another thing that the search committee has felt is that the current arrangement for having church members leading the service and giving them reflections, that the current arrangement has been a good one. And we feel that we've been served well, but maybe some of you feel like it's been wearing a little thin and you would like a different approach. Also, are your pastoral care needs being served adequately by the present arrangements? We've been talking about maybe trying to find a full-time interim minister for the next few months or a part-time interim. There are several people on the church hub who said they'd be interested in working 20 or 30 hours a week. And so what if we were able to find one of those and then fill in with church members to fill in a full-time ministry? Those might be possibilities. The problem with the part-time one is that would they be willing to relocate here for a part-time interim, and where would they live and that sort of thing. So I mean, we're talking about that, and we're sort of putting out feelers to see if there's somebody who might be able to fit that. But so far, we haven't heard back from anybody who says, yes, this is exactly what they're looking for. But that's one thing that we may be able to look at. So number one is the question of, do you feel well served by the way the interim has been going, and are there changes that you'd like to have as part of that? Number two, are the people who are filling in right now for worship and pastoral care, are any of them beginning to feel burnout and needing a rest from it? We've been doing this a lot longer than we had envisioned at the beginning, and there's, at this point, no end in sight. And so many of them may be feeling that this is more than they had felt they were taking on at the beginning. So we need to hear from all the people who've been leading in worship and that sort of thing. And then our people who are organizing this, like Jim Taylor and the rest of the worship committee and the pastoral care committee people, are they feeling burned out by the extra responsibility that they're having? Can we set up a more permanent arrangement for the time until our new minister comes? I think this fills out all that we need to say to you. And as I say, we'll be approaching church council and setting up asking them to set up an after-church discussion where we can talk about the interim arrangement and where we see ourselves going. As the search committee, we're still committed to searching for and hopefully finding someone who will be a full-time minister here at Winfield United. But in the interim, what are your needs? And are your needs being met by the current arrangements? We hope that'll be a chance for discussion and as in the next few weeks. So don't hesitate to talk to any member of the search committee if you want to raise any questions or concerns. Are you hearing that? Are you hearing this? I guess my answer would be, as a member of the search committee, it's just my answer, but I think that would be something to negotiate. If we were approaching somebody and if they said, well, this looks like a good arrangement for us, except that we just don't feel we can financially make the move, then I think we would have to consider that. But I'm not sure. I don't. At this point, we've not had anyone say to us, I would come except for the cost of moving there and the cost of living there. I haven't heard any of that. And our part is really just a conjecture that says maybe that's one of the reasons, but who knows? I don't know. I think it may be an issue with somebody who may want to come for an interim and finding a place to live here may be really hard. So maybe we would be telling Jim that he has to stay in California because we need his house. He may take that too. Well, it'd be a decision of his and Christine's, I think. The question is, the church in Kelowna is also looking for 3 ministers. And we just heard we knew they were looking for 1, but we just heard when Kathy was talking to us that now they have 3 openings. That Ivy, their senior minister, is retiring, and I don't know who else on the team is leaving, and they had already been looking for a 4th minister for the team. So the question is that going to affect us? I think we're looking in a quite different category than them. I mean, the size and the complexity of their congregation is quite different, and to be quite frank, some of the people who have been on the church hub who are in BC, we've looked at them and thought, well, I don't think they'd be moving from the church they are now to a place like Winfield because they're on a multiple staff congregation and that sort of thing. So I don't think that that's
a big issue, but it may be. Who knows? It's just something new that's come up.
Looking at people who are graduating from the School of Theology, and I don't know how long a term that is, but is there any opportunities in that regard? Or?
You hear the question, looking for an ordinand, somebody new to the church? I guess we have sent out a request to one person who looked like they might be a good fit for us, and they wrote back and said they weren't a good fit for us, and we asked them why. And they said because their theology and ours is quite different. And I think that's true. They gave a very honest and a response that was very appreciative of the as far as the search committee is concerned. But they said, we know that most churches where people are over 50 years old have a quite different theology than we do. And when he explained his theology, we said, yeah, we do have quite a different theology than you do. And so we asked Kathy about this. We said, what's happening? Are ordinands really going back to a much more traditional, much more conservative sort of theological point of view? And so she raised that with the council, regional council, at an executive meeting, and their response was, that's what they're feeling, that new ordinands tend to have a more traditional, more conservative sort of point of view than what's represented in this congregation and many congregations in the church. I mean, we'll still make requests to people who seem like they may be a good fit. And this one did seem like a good fit. And perhaps, I mean, we're not saying that what we're looking for is theology that's narrow. It needs to be broader than that. But maybe we're not sort of on the same page. A lot of that's just a reaction to what we've experienced so far. Any other questions? I told Bob and Don this, but I don't think I told the congregation. I started this business of chasing around and finding preachers last July after Joan left. I thought I was going to do it for about 6 months. I'm now heading up for a year. I don't want to continue. I'm tired. That just adds a further complication to what is our situation in the future. Well, that's one of the questions we had, and I guess we couldn't answer. Anyway, let me again say that we're not asking for direction about doing our job. We've taken that on, and we still feel committed to the kind of search that you asked us to make, and we'll continue to do that. But these questions around the interim arrangements are stuff that we think need to be addressed, because who knows how long they're going to go like this. We don't know. So if there are no other questions, I'll leave it at that, and we'll make a request to the council that we have an after-church discussion to deal with some of these issues. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Bob. There will be no visionary team report
under new business as it was shown on the agenda. So, Bob, would you like to address the memoriam?
It's good for me to walk back and forth. I need the exercise. I think the in memoriam part of the meeting is always interesting and sort of emotional when we realize the changes that have happened in our family over the last year, and those who were part of our family a year ago who no longer are part of our family physically. But of course, they're still part of our family memory, the experience that they brought to the community, and the experience that we still carry of their presence among us. And so I named these people, and I'll go through the list slowly so that you have a moment to just reflect on these people who have been part of our lives and continue to be part of our lives in memory and in the way in which we have been shaped by them. So I named Margaret Hahn. Muriel Cockrell.
Bill Bradley. Harvey Husk. Sachio Ruth Koyama. Dave Logie. Let us pray. We give thanks for all of the saints who have been part of our lives and who continue as memory. They have run the race and they have reached the goal. We thank them for what they have given to us and wish them well on the next stage of their journey. Be with them and with us, we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Bob. In closing, it's a testament to the strength of our Winfield United Church community that we are still able to gather and think about what lies ahead as we search for a new minister. The volunteer base is very, very large, especially when we think of the number of congregants and adherents that we have within our community. At this time, I'd like to give Sandy Bogardus a big pat on her back for the leadership as council chair. There never seems to be enough time to get everything discussed at our meetings, but we managed to cover everything as well as we can. And we certainly wish Sandy all the best on her road to recovery, which is going to be a bit of a long haul. And even though the list of pulpit supply was mentioned in the annual report, I would like to give them a shout out again. The list includes Bob Thompson, Jim Taylor, Rhonda Piggott Thorndale, Adam Jones, Rita Harrison, Don Sawatsky, Jim Hanna, and Doug Martindale. Thank you, Jim Taylor, for ensuring that the space behind the pulpit was never vacant. And thank you, Sharon, for assembling the annual report. It's a good read. So at this time, I will call for a motion to adjourn the meeting. Lynn and David, all in favor? Thank you. Bob is going to give us a benediction.